Okay, y'all. Shit got really real. Okay? Power, season 4, episode 5. Don't thank me. Now, look, we all been waiting for this, right? This episode right here really has just turned the season on its head. And we all knew it was coming though, right? A lot of shit that was happening in this episode we knew was coming. Maybe we didn't quite know exactly how it was going to unfold, but here we go. Let's get into it. Okay. Angie and Paz, they running. Actually, Angie's running. Paz is sitting her ass down smoking a cigarette. They get to talking, and Paz knows something is going on with Angie, and she's like, "What's going on with you?" So Angie's like, I think Jamie is innocent, and I got this information that pretty much proves his innocence as far as the gun is concerned. And Paz don't like it. Paz don't like Jamie, but she was like, okay, well, he a liar, he's a cheat, but if it's something that's going to put the truth out there, then you got to just do what you got to do. So Angie's like, none of my team knows about this information, so that is going to be a whole bunch of shit in and of itself that I even have this. And then when the team finds out about it, that's going to be something of its own. Okay, so then we have Silver and Ghost at the jailhouse. Ghost is leery of Silver. He doesn't trust Silver, but Silver makes him realize in this moment that, look, nigga, I get it that I'm not Proctor, but you need to get over it because I'm your only chance at staying your black ass alive. Okay, so that resonated with Ghost, and they bring up the asset forfeiture hearing. Terry tells Ghost about what's going to happen with that, and is again asking Ghost, is there anything I need to know? Ghost is like, nah, they've got nothing. I mean, Tasha runs our finances and they don't have anything. So Terry says, okay, well, maybe not with anything specific within your bank records, but they're probably going to try to flip this and turn this into a RICO case. And so as long as your business with Tommy was legit, you know, the wash and fold or the fluff and fold, whatever it was, as long as that was legit, then you have nothing to worry about. So Ghost says, yeah, everything was cool. And then we have Mike and Angie. So of course we know Sandoval's the nigga that shot Greg. So when Angie brings it to him about the surveillance tapes, now we all know that Sandoval, of course, was going to be like, bitch, no, get out of here. We not doing nothing with them tapes. And he says to her, he's like, okay, the judge already threw out the gun. So why are we going on this speculative shit about this surveillance tape or whatever? But of course, we know Sandoval is going to try to deter it because he's the dirty one. And Nutsacks comes in and says and brings up the fact that they found this 7-figure check written from Tommy to Truth, and they're going to try to spin that into payment. So they're trying to say that the 7-figure check from Tommy written out to Truth was the payment for the contract killing on Greg. So they're trying to say Tommy paid Ghost to hit Greg, and that's what the check was for. But and they also say, you know, that the reason why they want to spin this like that is because this payment happened clearly after Ghost supposedly severed business ties with Tommy. Okay, so that's their angle now. Over at the jail, Terezi and CO Charlie, Terezi brings up the transfer, right? Because we know from the last episode they were going to have CO Charlie transferred to another prison. Terezi brings that up and puts it in CO Charlie's head that it was Ghost and his lawyers that got that to happen, right? And we all know how CO Charlie feels about Ghost at this point, so he's like, okay, cool, I'm down with it. And because Terezi's like, okay, how about we set it up to get Ghost, right? And of course, CO Charlie is down with it, but we see later on in the episode that was a fatal mistake. We'll get there. Okay. Silver and Tasha are at the house talking, and Silver's telling Tasha about the asset forfeiture hearing coming up, and is asking her as well, is there anything I need to know about in your financial records that is going to hurt y'all down the line? And Tasha again is like, no, there's nothing. We've always done things on the up and up. I don't know what you're getting at, but they've got nothing. And Silver tells Tasha that she may have to testify. And Tasha's like, damn, I don't think I could do this or whatever. But Silver's like, you're a smart girl. Basically, you can do it. Don't worry about it. Okay? Now, Keisha and Tommy. I think I've gotten about sick of this right now, because now they in the bed smoking weed. You do that with your boo, okay? And Tommy may not be feeling the same way about Keisha that Keisha's feeling about Tommy, but he's digging her at least enough to be in the bed smoking weed with her. So she rolling the spliff or whatever, and Tommy's digging it, and they sitting there smoking, laughing, talking. And then Keisha brings up the shop again because she's still worried. And Tommy's like, look, I'm not going to front. It's bad, but don't worry about it. Tasha know what she doing. We going to get everything back to the way it was. Don't worry about it, okay? They kiss and everything. And then Tommy gets a text from Tasha. Tasha's like, Proctor's off the case, and I might have to testify. Meanwhile, Keisha in the background talking about, oh, I've never met anybody that I could be real with and kick it with and yada, yada, yada. All of that in love with you shit. And Tommy could care less. Tommy is focusing on what Tasha just told him. So he texts Tasha back and is like, I'm on it. And then Keisha's ass asks him, well, I know you said Holly's not coming back, and I'm just wondering what happened to her, because I don't want to make the same mistake she did. Girl, Keisha, for some reason, y'all, I got a feeling that Keisha might go this season. Keisha might go, and it's somebody else. I can't remember right this second, but I don't know, y'all. We'll see. And wouldn't that be some shit if Tommy's the one to take Keisha out? He saved her life last season, and now we see what's happening with them. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Okay, so Proctor and Tommy. Okay, because Proctor didn't tell Tommy that about this hearing. Okay, and so Tommy jacks Proctor up and is like, basically, what is going on? What's going on with all of this shit? You ain't tell me nothing. And this nigga said, Tommy said, what's up with this, what'd he say? This asset fortified hearing. And Proctor's like, nigga, it's an asset forfeiture hearing, first of all. And secondly, how come I didn't know about Tasha's role in all of this? Because Tommy ends up telling Proctor, like, yeah, that shop, that weave shop, yeah, we've been washing money through there, and Tasha's all up in it. So Proctor's like, well, goddamn, what? I didn't know nothing about this either. So what the fuck are we even talking about? And So yeah, so and Proctor's like, well, if they get her up on that stand and they ask her about all that shit, then all y'all ass is grass. So, I mean, what the fuck? And then Pitar texts Tommy about oh no, calls Tommy and is like, Chicago getting antsy, what's going on. And again, Tommy's trying to reassure Pitar, still trying to smooth it over, like, look, we'll be back up and running in no time, don't worry about it, we got it. Tommy doing a lot of damage control, I'm seeing. Tommy doing a whole lot of damage control with this whole thing, but we're gonna see what happens down the line. Okay, now back at the jailhouse, guess who the fuck shows up? Damn Simon Says, in the of all people, because I knew the look on Ghost's face, I knew that it was somebody at that window that we would least expect, but I was not thinking that it was old Simon Says. So anyway, long story short, Simon comes to visit Ghost in the pen because he's offering him some money. Right now, we all know something ain't kosher, because we know Simon's old slimy ass. We seen what had happened with him before, so we know how Simon moved. So we know he's not just there out of an act of benevolence. Okay, so he offers Ghost some money. Ghost is basically telling him, to fuck off, I don't need your money, right? But did y'all hear when Simon said to Ghost, when you get in our tax bracket? And to me, maybe I'm reading too far into it, I don't know, but for a white man to say that to a successful black man, I think it was some undertones in that, but I digress. Okay, so then Proctor is chilling, eating lunch with his daughter, okay? And Angie shows her ass up. And of course we know Proctor's not feeling it. Proctor's like, I just want to sit and eat my lunch, with my daughter in peace. I don't want to fuck with you. But Angie's there because she's begging for Proctor's help, okay? Because we know by now she knows that somebody's trying to frame Ghost, okay? So she's asking for Proctor's help. And Proctor's basically like, bitch, look, you were spending all of this time trying to kill Jamie, get him the death penalty, and get me suspended, and now you here with your hand out. Ain't nobody got time for this, so I'm gonna need you to carry on in the other direction. Okay, then Angie's like, well, if I'm going to bring this up, then I need to know everything about anything that Jamie has to do with any of this, okay? But Proctor was like, well, then you need to just go talk to him directly, okay? This Angie reaches her hand out to shake his hand, and Proctor's like, girl, bye. Get on out of here, Ange. Go on about your business. So, Keisha and Tasha, okay? They at the apartment, and Tasha's trying to pick something out to wear to court, okay? And in there talking, Keisha gets a text. And Tasha's like, well, bitch, who was you expecting that to be? And Keisha gonna say, nobody. And we know Tasha see right through that bullshit. So they start talking about it or whatever. And it comes out that Keisha been getting some from a white boy. Now, clearly Tasha was not suspecting that it was Tommy, because when Keisha was like, yeah, he a white boy, but he got flavor. And Tasha was like, well, the only white boy I know like that is Tommy, And then it kind of just fizzled out. The conversation just kind of fizzled out. But you could see the look on Tasha's face. Tasha like, this bitch been busting it open for Tommy. Ain't this about a bitch? I know, Tasha. We was feeling the same way. We right there with you. Okay. So, that comes out. And also in that particular scene, we could see that Keisha knows that she doing too much. She knows she too far on Tommy, and Tommy not really on her like that. And it just is what it is. But I mean, glad she knows it. I mean, she's not being totally oblivious about it. Okay. So then Angie, Jamie, and Silver are at the jailhouse, and they in the room talking. Jamie admits he was at Greg's apartment to Angie, right? And he says, yeah, I was there because you came through and I was hiding in the bathroom. You was asking Greg something about somebody named MJ. And then he also points out the phone. The phone that he, was in the pictures before, right? So Angie is still pretty much pushing back against what Jamie is saying, saying that somebody could have left the phone. I don't know. She was just saying a whole bunch of bullshit, right? And then she spills on her team because Terry's like, well, what can you offer us? So at that point she spills it, and she's like, well, at the asset forfeiture hearing, Mock and Sachs are going to bring up this 7-figure check written by Tommy out to Truth. And that's what they pretty much that's how they're gonna try to get you, okay? And then Ghost says it was a loan, okay? It's nothing more to that, it's just a loan. And then he says, to secure security, okay? Y'all, excuse me, I'm tired, but we gonna get there. Okay, so then Terry was like, okay, Angie, can you excuse us? And then he says that check implies collusion. Collusion implies an organization. Organization then lends itself to RICO. Okay, so we gotta tread lightly. All right, now Sue and Julio is getting it in. Okay, he's still hitting it, right? As if we didn't already know that. So they getting it in, and Julio gets text from Poncho and Callahan, and they tight over the fact that Julio been hitting Cristobal off with extra weight, and they like, we want that too, or we gone. Okay, so Julio's like, what the fuck? How is this even getting around that I'm giving Cristobal more weight? Sue chimes in and says, yeah, Cristobal and Dre been talking lately. I seen him at Truth the other night. And she also tells Julio about this one-off type of side party deal that they got going on, because we know Truth is shut down, but they got to keep the product flowing, so they set up this side party type of thing. And Sue tells Julio about it, okay? Then asks, well, do you want me to keep my eyes peeled or some bullshit? She's the one who I think is gonna become a casualty this season, I think, okay? Because she doing a lot of shady shit. Then Tariq and Tommy are in Tariq's room, and we see Tariq has Lil Destiny's number in his hand, okay? And so him and Tommy are talking, and Tommy's like, yeah, you fly, whatever, I see you in your gear, where you get the money? Tariq's like, oh, I just had some money saved up. Lying. And then he says, Tommy, Uncle T, how old were you when you first had sex, right? Tommy's like, oh, nigga, I know you ain't got some ass and you ain't say nothing. And he's like, yeah, at a party the other day. And Tommy's like, well, who the fuck was you at this party with? This nigga Tariq says Dre took me. Now, like I said, can somebody get Tariq? Get him, because he doing too much. Tariq gonna get people killed. Because Tommy's putting the pieces together about Kanan, and he gonna soon connect the dots, and Dre might get killed too, but we'll see. And then in court, Tasha was trying to tell Silver something before everything started, but he was like, you're gonna have to wait. So they get Jamie on the stand. Okay, we wasn't expecting this. We was thinking it was gonna be Tasha, but Jamie's on the stand and brings up the 7-figure check. Okay, and Jamie says that this was a loan. I'm sorry. Wait a minute, y'all. Who was on the stand? So this was the court hearing or whatever, and yeah, Jamie's on the stand, and they bring it up and say that, you know, the 7-figure check was a payment for the Greg hit, and it wasn't. They say, you know, he says it wasn't or whatever, and he says, I needed the money. I needed the loan from Tommy. Tommy's my friend, and I needed the money because I was invested at the moment with Bassett Hotel Group, and all of my liquid cash was tied up in this investment, and I needed the immediate cash. Okay, so that was that. And Simon's old wrinkled ass approaches Tasha outside, and again offers her money. Okay, I don't know what to think about this, because Simon just pops up out of nowhere. Is something going on? Somebody done brought him in some kind of way, because how else would he know? So it's something happening up in the circles to bring Simon in, but I'm pretty sure we'll get there eventually in the season. Okay, Dre and Tommy over at the other spot. And so they just kicking it, talking to politics about this new spot and how they not going to run product through that spot. They going to do the courier system or whatever. And Tommy's all in. Tommy's like, yeah, you know, Dre, you know, good looking and everything. I see you doing your thing from corner boy to entrepreneur, yada, yada, right? Now, Pitar is there, okay, and Pitar is down with it and everything. He says he'll tell Chicago and everything, and then Dre, I believe, was like, you know, none of the girls, we ain't got to worry about none of the girls. They ain't got no big mouth. They just want to be where the ball is at. But Dre clearly is wrong in that moment, because Sue done already ran her mouth to 718. Okay, that's why I said I think Sue gonna get. Something gonna happen to Sue, because she ain't even really important either, like, for real. So I'm thinking something gonna happen to her, right? And then Tommy confronts Dre about what Tariq said about him taking him to a party, and Dre was like, I took him to his friend's house. I didn't take him to no damn party. And Tommy's like, well, are you saying Tariq is lying? I'm not saying shit. I'm saying that I did not take him to a party. So, you know, whatever the fuck ever. Okay? Moving right along. Sandoval cross-examines Jamie. Okay? And Sandoval, again, is going on with this narrative about it being a contract murder. Jamie killing Greg as a contract established between him and Tommy. He plays the whole thing out and everything, and Jamie gets agitated on the stand. It's like, I'm not a killer. I didn't kill Greg. And Sandoval's like, well, how do you know him well enough to call him Greg? Now, I can't with Sandoval, because, ooh, I don't know. I'm just anxious to see what's about to happen with Sandoval, because we all know Angie. If Angie don't already got the drop on Sandoval, she's gonna figure it out. Okay, so we gonna see. But Greg dead as hell. Jamie says on the stand that he did not go to Greg's apartment. Okay, but Sandoval keeps pressing this narrative on him. Okay, and then you could tell at the end of the examination, at the cross-examination, Sandoval walks away all proud of himself and everything, like he did something. He's shaking hands with Mock, and anyway, Ghost and Silver are back at the jailhouse, and Silver's like, Ghost is like, what the fuck? Like, why are you even here? You let this shit happen in front of my family? Let them call me a murderer in front of my family? What the fuck? Silver's like, well, we knew that could possibly happen. All we can do now is just get ready for what's next, okay? And that's gonna mean private investigators to find the shit that the FBI decided to overlook, and more forensic teams. And that shit is gonna cost money, so I'm gonna need you to find a way to be able to pay for this shit, okay? Because Ghost was like, I really don't think I can afford it. But Terry's like, well, get your shit together, because you're gonna have to if we have any chance at this at all. And the media attention is going to get even greater, okay? All of this is swirling around in Ghost's mind, okay? But he says, do you think we can win? So slowly Ghost is starting to not so much trust Terry, but he's starting to relax his nerves just that much, just a little bit, okay? Now Ghost and CO Charlie. Now, okay. He's antagonizing Ghost again, like he always does. Now, I didn't think this was about to happen, but okay, so here we go. He's antagonizing Ghost again, like he always does, okay? And he calls his babies nigglets, and then he starts talking about Tasha, okay, talking about she gonna be calling me daddy, and okay, and Ghost just couldn't take it, okay? So he goes in on CO Charlie. They get to fighting and everything. He ends up grabbing the weight, bangs him out with the weight, bam, 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 right? Crushes his skull in, okay? Terezi and Biscuit come in, okay? And Biscuit tries to shank Ghost, and Terezi grabs him from behind. Biscuit grabs him from behind, chokes him out, and kills him, okay? Now Terezi and Ghost was like, okay, Terezi was like, take your clothes off, okay? Put Biscuit's clothes on. We're gonna make it look like a suicide. He hangs the belt over the weight bar, hangs Biscuit there, okay? And Terezi grabs the shank, they slip out, okay? So CO Charlie is dead as shit on the floor with his skull bashed in. Biscuit's hanging looking like a suicide, and they like, okay, Biscuit, the story's gonna be Biscuit killed CO. He couldn't take it, he couldn't face what was coming up, so he hung himself, okay? Now that solidified Ghost and Terezi right there, okay? Because now it ain't no getting around nothing, okay? So then we have Paz and Angie at Angie's apartment, and Paz is asking her how it went in court. Angie's like, it went badly. Paz is like, oh well, you did what you could do, and that's it. Basically, she walks on off, okay? Angie calls Terry, okay? She was like, we need to talk, right? Tommy and Tasha. Tommy adds a comedic aspect to this show, this weird comedic aspect to this show, but I like it, okay? So he and Tasha are at the apartment talking, and he pours himself a big old glass of Simply Orange. I love that. Simply Orange is the best orange juice. I love it. And Tasha is like, yeah, so you and Keisha, I mean, come on, what's going on? Tommy drinking the juice, right? Drinks down the whole glass of orange juice, and Tasha's like, yeah, she was saying she was with some white boy that was hitting it right, whatever. He's steady drinking, guzzling, right? Finishes the orange juice, put the cup down. He goes, she said I was hitting it right. So that was cute. I like that. And so he's like, it just happened. I didn't mean for it to happen. It just happened. And then he also admits to Tasha that he killed Holly. And he was like, I didn't know about the baby. Had I known about the baby, I would never have put hands on her, but I didn't know about the baby. And you could tell that Tommy is still struggling. Like we knew before that he was struggling with it, but he's still grappling with it. Okay. And he says Keisha wants something from me that I can't give her. I can't give that to nobody. But Tasha's like, I understand, we family, we protect each other, but I need you to hold this shit together with Keisha, because there's no telling what she would do if you break her heart, if you walk away and break her heart, right? So Tommy's like, okay, I got you. We don't want Keisha talking, okay? But I'm still a little shaky on that. I don't know how that's gonna go, okay? Then back in court, everybody's back in court because Terry filed a motion to dismiss the charges, okay? Angie's on the stand, and Terry's pressing this prosecutorial misconduct, okay? And he, Angie spills everything. She admits to shit, and Silver's like, okay, we know about the traffic stop that wasn't entered. Now the surveillance footage that Angie came across, that hasn't been entered either. Angie's like, I told Sandoval he wouldn't turn the tapes over. I told Mock too, and Mock excluded me from the strategic meetings. And she says she believes Jamie's innocent. So then Mock brings up all of the other shit, about how Angie was given information, I think, on Lobos, about the personal relationship she had with Jamie. Okay, now this pisses off Judge Dadbod, okay? And he's like, Angela, is all of this true? And she's like, yeah. And then Mock, old greasy ass, talking about, well, thank you, Judge. And Judge was like, nigga, shut the fuck up, because your ass, all of this shit, everything you bringing up that Angie did happened on your motherfucking watch. So I'm gonna need you to shut the F up, and I'm dismissing the charges, okay? Mr. St. Patrick, you can get processed out. You can go head home. Ghost is free, y'all. Free. Ghost done got out of jail, and OJ got parole. Child, please. That's a whole nother story. Anyway, okay? So, yeah. So, Ghost is out. The prosecution is suspended pending an investigation, okay? Now, Tommy, back at the crib, he's shooting pool. They had my shit playing, Smokey Robinson or whatever. And he gets a text from Keisha like, I haven't heard from you all day. What's up? He ignores Keisha basically, and then Pitar texts and is like, Chicago wants you now. Okay. So then it's not about the spot set up, it's about something else. Okay, so he calls his man to get him a car, and he's gonna go off to Chicago. Okay, now he still ain't got back to Keisha. Okay, so okay, then over at the spot, Kanan and Dre meet up, and Dre gives him the final payment and is telling him, look, I need you to leave Tariq alone. Kanan's like, no, I'm not leaving Tariq alone, basically. And Dre's like, well, you doing this because you wanted back what was yours, right? And you can get that, and I can help you do that. And he's like, how? And Dre's like, because Milan is dead, so you got it. Like, and I'm gonna help you get your I'm gonna help you reclaim your throne, basically, because we know Kanan has this vendetta against Ghost, okay? And Dre's vowing to help Kanan with that. Now, Julio 1718 sees them talking through the window, okay? Then Angie and Sandoval are on the elevator on their way out. She got her box, he got his box. They on their way down in the elevator. And Sandoval's like, I bet you think you did something noble. Oh, bitch, just and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna catch Greg's killer. He was like, because all you did really was just free a murderer. And she was like, yeah, but not Greg's murderer. And I'm gonna do whatever's necessary to find who killed Greg. Okay. And she says to him, whatever's done in the dark will always come to light. Okay. So we gonna see what happens with that. um then Terry and Tasha, they're talking about the charges being dismissed and everything, and Terry's saying they were dismissed, but they were dismissed without prejudice, which means that there's a possibility for further prosecution. But he also says, now I think in the meantime, with the assets and everything, there still has to be a process for everything to be released. So I think you should get a floater. Now, if I'm not mistaken, and y'all tell me in the comments too, didn't Simon use that term earlier in the episode, a floater, as in a loan in the meantime, because they going through shit with their finances? So that's what's making me think something is going on with Terry. It's something happening. Simon, Terry, it's something going on. Y'all let me know. But anyway, so she tells he tells Tasha to get a floater, okay? And they hug, and it looked like it was some chemistry going on right quick with the hug. That's just me, just my opinion, okay? Then they hug, okay? So they hug and everything with the chemistry, and Terry leaves. Tasha calls wrinkly Simon, okay? Now Tariq is over at jukeboxes, because when Kanan and Dre were talking back at the spot and he was getting the money, Tariq texted Kanan and was like, I told my mom I was staying with friends, so you trying to meet up? And Kanan's like, yeah, I'm on my way. So Tariq ends up over at jukeboxes, right? And walks in, and there's no Kanan, okay? Now Tommy gets his car and is going on off to Chicago, and he hands his phone off to his man that got him the car, and was like, he's like, well, his man was like, well, what's gonna happen, how we gonna reach you if something happens? Tommy's like, you just not gonna reach me. Okay, now again, Keisha been trying to get in touch with him. Tommy going off, and he not gonna be able to get back to her. So what's that gonna mean? Like, is Keisha gonna fly off the handle? I don't know. So he goes off to Chicago. Okay. Now Ghost and Terezi again approaches Ghost about giving Tommy this phone. Okay. And Ghost is like, well, what the fuck? This is the second time you've approached me about Tommy. I mean, what's really going on? Like, you've been in too long to really know anything about us. Like, what, you know his father or something? Terezi was like, maybe something like that, okay? And I done heard some people say that'd be some shit if Terezi was actually Tommy's father. So Terezi's like, give him this fucking phone, or everybody's gonna know what really happened in that weight room with CO Charlie, me, you, and Biscuit, okay? So Ghost is like, okay, he really has no choice at that point. Now Kanan shows up at Jukebox's apartment, okay? And Jukebox, apparently that's who was in there when Tariq first walked in, because he was like, hey, what you doing here? Tariq was like, what are you doing here? So that must have been who was in the apartment, and she probably done knocked him out on some more lean or tied him up or something, because she tells Kanan, Ghost is out and our plan is back in motion, and we gonna do everything we said we were gonna do. So now Tariq, they got him for ransom yet again, and Kanan is like, all right, well, what you need me to do? And that's how the episode ended, y'all. So really, really good episode, very pivotal for the season. A lot of stuff happened, and I'm interested still interested. This show always keeps me intrigued. I love this show. Great cast of characters and everything. And look, thank you to all my new subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so now. Make sure you click your subscribe button, turn your notifications on, and leave your comments. Talk about the show with me down in the comments. I love to talk back with you guys. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning in, watching. If I missed anything, also leave that in the comments. And look, I am tired, okay? So had to work today and everything, so that's the reason for my appearance. I hope you guys still enjoyed the review. Thanks for watching, and we will be back next Sunday for another episode review of Power.